Hi, welcome to another Media Tip of the Month. I'm Steve Valk, the Communications Director for Citizens Climate Lobby. And this time around, we want to talk a little bit about a resource for writing and submitting letters to the editor that most of our volunteers don't know about, and that's the online LTE tool. Now, when we're thinking about where to submit a letter to the editor, most of the time, there's only one choice. It's the daily newspaper in our community. And that kind of limits the opportunities that we have to get published. The LTE online tool actually shows us all the publications that are in our area, and that opens up all kinds of possibilities for us to get published. So, where can we find this mysterious and amazing online LTE tool? Well, follow me, I'll show you. Once you get on the community homepage, so go ahead and click Take Action, and that'll take you to another page. And on that page, scroll down a little bit. Under Media Actions, you'll see Write a Letter to the Editor. Go ahead and click that. And when you get here, the Write a Letter to the Editor page has all kinds of great resources to help you write a letter to the editor. There's webinars on here, there's guidelines. For example, if you click the Planet tab on it and scroll down, you see there's actually a formula here for drafting a letter to the editors. There's LTE do's and don'ts. So there's all kinds of good resources on this page to help you out. But we want to focus on the online LTE tool. So to get to that tool, you'll want to click the Do It tab right here. And when that tab comes up, you'll see a button that says Send a Letter Now. So when I click that button, it'll take me to the online LTE tool. And what you'll want to do is fill in your contact information. Now, this is the information that the newspapers typically require you to include in your letters so that they can verify your letters. So once you've put all your contact information in here and saved it, the online tool will then display for you a list of all the publications that are in your area. So I'm in Atlanta, and I had no idea that there were over like 20 different publications that I could be sending letters to the editor to. So there's two ways that you can use this tool. The first way is you find a specific story in one of the newspapers that you can respond to, an LTE opportunity, as we like to call it, and you can draft your letter and select, say I found a story in Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Well, I would go ahead and select that paper right there, and then I would go ahead and write or paste my letter to the editor in the text box here. And after that's done, okay, got my text in the text box, I've got my newspaper selected, I can just click Send, off it goes. Now, the other way that you can use the online LTE tool is to submit one letter to multiple newspapers. Now, this gets a little bit tricky because you don't want to respond to a specific story because that story might not have shown up in a lot of different papers. So there are some stories out there that are really big and that they're just hot topics that people have been talking about, things that are in the news. A good example of that would be the wildfires out in California or the record-setting heat waves that are happening around the world. Again, you don't need a specific story to write a letter about one of these topics if it's something big that's in the news. So let's say we're writing a letter about the wildfires out in California. We would then, talk a little bit about the connection that those wildfires have to climate change and the need to start bringing down greenhouse gas emissions that are exacerbating the problem. And then, of course, once we get to that point, we can suggest a solution for bringing down those emissions, like carbon fee and dividend, pricing carbon. So once you've got your letter composed, then you can go ahead and paste it into the text box down here. And then I can go ahead and select as many of these newspapers as I want to select to send the letter off to. I can just go nuts here and send it off to a bunch of different papers. So after I've selected the papers I want to send it off to, and I've got my letter down here in the text box, again, just hit send. Off those letters go to all these newspapers. And one thing I'd like to encourage you, now that you know about all these different newspapers that are in your area, you can go to those websites and start checking them out and see if there are, some stories that you can respond to specifically in those newspapers to get letters to the editor published. So that's our online LTE tool. I hope you'll check it out and use it. And that's our media tip of the month. We'll see you next time.